The last thing I remember before the anesthesia took me was my husband's hand pressing down on mine, too firmly, while my sister stood at the foot of the hospital bed, nodding like this was all already decided. "Just sign," she said softly. "We'll take care of everything." I didn't know then that those words would echo for years. At the time, I was tired, bone-deep tired. The kind of tired that makes your thoughts feel like they're wading through mud. The fluorescent lights above me buzzed faintly, and the room smelled like antiseptic and old coffee. Somewhere down the hall, a monitor beeped in a steady rhythm, like a clock reminding me I was running out of something. Time, patience, clarity. Maybe all three. They told me the surgery was urgent. Necessary. A small window, they said, and if we missed it, things could get worse. I remember thinking, worse than this? Before all of that, my life had been ordinary in the best way. Predictable. Warm. I was the kind of woman who believed that if you loved people well and did right by them, the world would eventually return the favor. I'd been married to Daniel for 18 years. Not perfect years, but solid ones. The kind built on routine. Coffee together in the morning. The same jokes repeated at dinner. His shoes always left just a little too close to the door. I worked as a claims analyst for a mid-sized insurance company. Ironic, I know. I understood policies, deductibles, the fine print people never read. I took pride in being careful, organized, responsible. Daniel liked to joke that if the world ever fell apart, I'd still have a labeled folder for it. My sister, Marlene, was my opposite. She moved through life on instinct and charm. Always had. Growing up, she was the one who could talk her way out of trouble, while I followed rules and cleaned up messes. Still, she was my younger sister. My blood. When our parents passed, we promised each other we'd stay close. And we did. Sunday dinners, long phone calls, shared holidays. I trusted them. Both of them. Without question. The first sign that something was wrong came quietly. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and I was at my desk when a sharp pain bloomed just under my ribs. Not unbearable, just alarming. I remember pausing, pressing my palm there, and telling myself it was probably stress. I'd been working late that week, skipping lunches, living on vending machine pretzels, and lukewarm coffee. By evening, the pain hadn't gone away. Daniel insisted we go to urgent care. He hovered more than usual, his voice clipped, his eyes darting to his phone every few minutes. Marlene met us there, breathless, as if summoned by instinct. Tests followed. Then more tests. Words floated past me, abnormal, concerning, we should monitor this. I lay there in a thin gown, paper crinkling beneath me, while the doctor explained possibilities without committing to any of them. That night, I went home with instructions to rest and follow up. But the follow-up came fast. Too fast. Within 48 hours, I was back in a hospital bed, this time in a private room. Daniel paced. Marlene spoke in hushed tones to nurses. Someone mentioned surgery as a precaution. Someone else said better safe than sorry. I asked questions. I remember asking them clearly. Is this really necessary? I said, my mouth dry. Can we wait? Daniel squeezed my hand. I don't want to lose you, he said. His voice cracked in just the right place. Marlene leaned in. You've always been strong, she said. But you don't have to be right now. It's strange how easy it is to let go when the people you trust most are telling you to. I felt myself shrinking back into the bed, into the pillow, into the idea that maybe they saw something I didn't. Maybe my fear was just denial. The consent forms appeared. Pages and pages of dense language. I scanned them, trying to focus, but my head throbbed and the room felt too bright. Daniel pointed to where I should sign. Marlene handed me the pen. Just here, she said gently. When I woke up, my body felt wrong. Heavy. Foreign. Like parts of me had been rearranged without my permission. The surgery, they said, had gone well. Necessary. Preventative. I nodded, swallowing the ache in my throat. Daniel kissed my forehead. Marlene smiled with relief that seemed almost rehearsed. Recovery was harder than I expected. Pain lingered. Fatigue settled into my bones. I took time off work, something I hated doing, but everyone insisted it was for the best. Daniel handled the bills. The paperwork. You focus on healing, he said. I've got everything else. Marlene came by often. Too often. She'd tidy the kitchen, reorganize drawers, bring soup that tasted overly salted. Sometimes I'd catch her looking at me with an expression I couldn't name, calculating maybe. Or worried. I told myself I was being paranoid. Weeks turned into months. I went back to work slowly, but something inside me had shifted. I felt less certain, less anchored. My body bore scars I hadn't fully made peace with, and my trust, though I didn't realize it yet, had been quietly moved into someone else's hands. The first real crack came the day I received a letter from my insurance company. It was routine, they said. A follow-up regarding coverage adjustments after a major procedure. I opened it at the kitchen table, sunlight slanting across the wood, dust motes drifting lazily in the air. As I read, my stomach tightened. There were references to authorizations I didn't remember giving. Decisions made on my behalf. A note about power of attorney. I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly against the floor. Power of attorney? Daniel said it was temporary. Just in case, he explained when I asked. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes. You were out of it. The doctors needed decisions made quickly. Marlene backed him up. You told us to, she said. Remember? You said, do whatever you have to do. I didn't remember saying that. But doubt has a way of making you questy.